Hi guys, it's Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is books set in the heat. So this is going to be hot countries or set in places where it's hot. But I thought, seeing as we're now in summer, although not that you'd believe that today, because today's the day I'm filming and it's grey outside. Typical. But I thought I would show you 10 books that are set in the heat. And they are from different genres. Obviously, you know me, they're mainly from contemporaries and historical fiction. But I've got one that's got a bit of a twist. So I will let you know. So the first book is one I haven't read. And that's The Honeymooners by Christina, which is a dual author. And this is a book that's obviously, you can see where this is set. This is set in Hawaii. And this is about Olive, who is always unlucky. Her identical twin sister, or Amy on the other hand, is probably the luckiest person in the world. While she is about to marry her dream man, Olive is forced to play nice with her nemesis, the best man, Ethan. Yet Olive's luck may be on the turn. When the entire wedding party, except for Ethan and Olive, gets food poisoning, there's an all-expensive paid honeymoon in Hawaii up for grabs. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I'll be buddy reading this with Gemma. I can read about Gemma at some point. And this is a really good, fun contemporary that will really make me smile. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we've got a middle grade book that is set in India. And it's also like a historical fiction / classic, apparently. But when their mother is ill and their father is permanently drunk, Harry and Leela have to earn their money to keep house and look after their young sisters. In desperation, Harry runs away to Bombay and Leela is left to cope alone. As you can see, this is set in India. It's quite a nice short book, but I think it looks like it's quite a good one actually. So I found this in my charity shop and it's one I'm looking forward to trying. Now the next one is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is set obviously on a beach mainly. 2 writers, 1 holiday, a rom-com waiting to happen. I'm going to be reading this in August, so I don't want to know too much about this. January is a hopeless romantic who narrates her life like she's the lead in a blockbuster movie. Gus is a serious literary type who thinks true love is a fairy tale. But January and Gus have more in common than you think. They're both broke and they're both suffering from crippling writer's block. This looks really good. I'm looking forward to getting to that. Then I couldn't go a video without saying my favourite author, Paige Tune. A lot of her books are set in Australia or in the UK. She's got some that are set in America, but this is her first book and this is set in Australia. And this is, I love this book. Pictures of Lily. It's set mainly in Australia and it's set sort of in the outback and it's brilliant. 10 years ago, when Lily was 16, she fell in love with someone she shouldn't. Now living in Sydney and engaged to another man, she can't forget the one that got away. And her past comes back to haunt her and she is forced to make a decision that will break her heart and the heart of at least one of the men who love her. I love this book. Thoroughly recommend Paige Tune's books, and the books set in Australia are fantastic. Now the one I bought because of Danny from Danny's Book World, and this is The Last Reunion by K.N. Nunn. This is set in 3 different timelines and 3 different places, but one of the places is in Burma, and that's the first one, and that's the first timeline, and that is set in Burma 1945. Bee, Plum, Bubbles and Joy and Lucy are 5 young women looking for adventure, fighting the forgotten war in the jungle, running a mobile canteen during and dodging hostile gunfire. They soon become embroiled in a battle that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. And then we have another timeline that's set in 1976 in Oxford, and then the last one is in London and Galway in 1999. This does look really good. I'm really looking forward to reading that. Be a buddy read with Danny. Now, the next book I thought was actually a historical fiction, but it's actually a contemporary, and this is Homecoming by Luann Goldie. I loved Nightingale Point, but that was very hard-hitting. And this moves between London and Kenya and spanning almost 2 decades. So I think I'll get away with that as a historical fiction, actually. And that's a profound story of love, family and friendship, and it's about coming to terms with your past and about what really happens when we share our truths. So we've got Yvonne and Kiami, who had to go out without a mother, yeah. When Kiami seeks Yvonne out and asks her to come with him to Kenya, the place that holds the answers to his questions, she knows she can't refuse. And this one act sets in motion an unravelling of the past that no one is ready for. Looks really good. Really looking forward to getting to that. Now the next one was a surprise because I thought it was just historical fiction. But when I read the reviews, it's actually historical fiction and thriller. And this was one that I picked up because of Jem from Read a Book Jem. And this is set in the summer of 1959 in Sunny Lakes, California. And it's Royalty Under the Sun. And it's at some point during the long afternoon, Joyce Hanley, wife and mother, vanishes from her home. While the Hanley's neighbours get busy organising search parties, it's Ruby Wright, the family's help, who may hold the key to its unsettling mystery. For Ruby knows more than the secrets behind Sunny Lakes starched curtains more than anyone. Looks really good. I'm really looking forward to trying this. Now the next one you would have heard me rave about so often. I love this book so much now. It's literally one of my favourite books of the year now. And this is The Four Winds by Kristen and Hanna. I can't talk about this enough. It is an amazing, amazing book. It's set in the Dust Bowl in America in the 1930s mainly. And this is when Elsa Martinez finally found the life she yearned for. But during the Great Plains, and when the drought happens, they have to move across the country to California, where the promises are that there's a better life. But as to whether that happens is a different matter. This is amazing, but this will make you cry. It is going to be a heartbreaking book. Now, the next one is one I'm going to be picking up this month. So by the time you've read this, by the time you see this video go live, I would have read it. And so, it might have been in my wrap-up part 1. No, I'm going to save this for my wrap-up part 2. So I will be reading this in the second half of the month. And this is set in South Africa in the 1900s. I was given this as a gift and I'm looking forward to trying it. The search for his missing son takes Joseph Radcliffe from the streets of Dublin, smouldering with rebellion, to the trackless veld of South Africa and the bloody brutality of the Anglo-Boer War. As a former cavalryman in the US Army, Radcliffe is no stranger to war, but 800 miles from Cape North, under fire from Boer commandos and distrusted by the British forces, he will find survival skills tested to the hilt. This looks very emotional. Even though it's a big book and it looks massive, it's actually only like 360 odd pages. So it shouldn't take too long to get through. But it's one of an era that I don't know much about. South Africa's not one I know much about, but obviously you can see the heat that would have been in this. And then last but not least, another book that I loved and will be one of my favourites for the year, Mallory Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is historical fiction at its best. It's set in, literally, what did I say it's set in? Malibu. Why do I question myself? Malibu, in August 1983. And that's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party. Read this in January, I think. Did I read it in March? I can't remember. But it's fan-flipping-tastic. It's mainly set over the course of a day, but it jumps backwards and forwards into their family history. And it's a brilliant, brilliant book. I could not love this more if I tried. It really is fantastic, and it's fun, heartbreaking, emotional, about families, and I loved it. And it's a great one. So these are just some of the books that I've read that are set in the summer and set in the heat. I will be reading a lot more summery, hot books over the course of the summer, as you will already have seen, because I'll link down below my books for the summer. So I'll link that video down below. And have you got any recommendations for me about books set in the heat? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.